Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Mackie and welcome to my LEC tier list. The tier list of all tier lists that every buyers triggered, screamed, and throw themselves in the comment section over the fire brimstone of doom. We are categorizing tiers in S, A, B, C, and D. If you like all of this, comment, subscribe, roast your friends, and all this kind of stuff about your tier list, and maybe trigger me or such. Anyways, we are going to start with Astralis. Now, it's pretty much like, I don't know how I put Astralis into this tier list. Maybe they might be a decent team. Maybe they might be good enough to even like establish this per the score. I mean, you got Finn, you got 113, you got, oh, and we put it on D tier already. Well, that is a really surprising start. And pretty much no surprise because of, how Fnatic are the last 12 days. I mean, they were 7-11 and they were good. They have John Hood, who's the rookie of the year. But I just don't know if this Fnatic team are like decent enough to like compete with the upper echelons of the Fnatics and the G2s, or maybe decent enough to even come out the bottom tier, like the SKs and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, putting in D tiers is kind of like the right decision to do because I just don't know if Australians are good enough to even like, be great in the LEC. But that's not neither here or there. So the next team that I wanted to discuss is XL. I believe that this XL team are really, really good. We got Odawami, you got Exerce, you got VTO, you got Targamas, you got Patrick. And Patrick, for the first time ever, it's not have to carry a dead weight of a team. He can finally be himself and be a good team. So here's the thing. I did not put XL in probably the S tier because I just don't think like there are championship material yet. Now Odawami is an LEC champion and he's good. Don't get me wrong, but I put them in A tier. Wait, there you go. I put them in A tier because I feel like they're good enough. The players that they have is really great, but I feel like the individual skills are gonna be like what can hold this team back because we all know VG can pop it off pretty well. We all know Odawami is like the weak tank jungler until he's really great. See his Makai games. And we all know how Patrick can be good in the 80 carries. So all these players are really, really great, but I just don't know if the individual skills can make this team so good. And that's why I put them in the A tier. Now, don't get me wrong. I think, XL is good enough to win. We'll see how this individual team can become a collective group that can do well. But expect them to make multiple playoff appearances. So Fnatic, I have like one guy in the Discord who is triggered because Fnatic is like an A tier team. So if you have anything wrong with that, I'm sorry. And you are a jackass. And you deserve it. I think Fnatic is going to be a really interesting team. You got Wonder, you got Rux, you got like Reckless returning. Oh my god, the king is back. And, that is going to be the most reason why everybody's going to watch Fnatic right now because of Reckless alone. And probably the reason why Fnatic are a really good team and pretty much the favorites to win the whole thing. But I just don't know if they can topple the G2s or the Kois of the world of, are they good enough to like break through the mold and finally win their first split in about 5 years? So I put Fnatic on S tier. Like, I put Fnatic on S tier and I was just like, oh my god, this Fnatic team is incredible. You got Reckless coming back, Wonder coming back, you got Humanoid, who's been pretty good in the summer and did incredibly well of literally carrying this Fnatic team into Worlds and having great performances himself. Of course, his performance against Azir with EDG in that one incredible moment. And I feel like to myself, okay, man, Fnatic are like LEC champions. They're like the best team ever. But there's a little side of me about Reckless' playstyle. We see it in G2 2021. And the question of, can he change his playstyle or will the team change his playstyle around him? And that's going to be the big question mark because that is the reason why, even though I put Fnatic on S tier around that time of the video, I kind of feel a little bit of, I am not sure about that. And don't get me wrong, I deserve a lot of triggering because of the Discord fanbase and probably all the Twitter right now because of that. And that's okay. I think Fnatic are a good team in the S tier to win, but I just don't have that good feeling about it. And we all see what Humanoid did not do around regular season. He was really great at playoffs until Worlds, but throughout the regular season, he was not great. So I wonder, because of like not having a Silas anymore, we haven't seen a lot of Silas in probably a lot of games. And that's the reason why I put them in A tier, because I think the mid lane is going to have a little bit of a meta problem. I think Reckless pool of 80 carries is going to be a little bit hit or miss. I think the playstyle is going to be will have a little bit of time to wonder. I just don't know if, Razok and Wonder, or the way their synergies are done, are good enough to, like, be decent. So, and when Yamato Kano is gone, I think that's probably going to be hurting Fnatic even more. G2 S tier. I think this whole team has a big redemption story itself. So, yeah, the Carlos thing is gone now. He's gone. He's no longer going to bother you. Mickey X, come back to the team. And we can bring you Hansama as well. So, yeah, Mickey X, Hansama, you can look at those two names and say, like, holy cow, that bot lane is absolutely good. And I think, Mickey X coming out of his 2 incredible playoffs with XL, but not great enough, to make this XL team great. Hansama with an absolute disaster from that Team Liquid Super Team that was a total cluster cluck, of course. And, of course, Cavs have an amazing spring, but did not do well in summer nor Worlds. Broken Blade is okay. He is okay. And Yike, of course, coming in, rookie from the LELC, filling the big shoes of Perks and all this kind of stuff. So for this entire G2 team, I think G2 needs a redemption year. And I think this is the first step with this new team to reestablish themselves as the king of EMEA. Not Europe, EMEA. And I think, with this roster, I think, you can see that G2's incredible team can make this team really, really well. So that's why I put this G2 team in S tier, and probably like the favorites to win 1, maybe 2, maybe all 3 splits, of course, and maybe win the LEC, for God's sakes. And probably going to be the bigger chance of making EMEAs go far in Worlds with the new format and all those kind of things. So I will put G2 in the S tier, because I have that feeling that G2 are like amazing right now with the squad is. On paper, of course, but we'll see how the game goes up. Koi is next. So Koi is a new team from that Rogues roster that won the whole thing. Shikenda is still there. Shikenda is a new top laner. Of course, the same core of that Rogue team is still there. And Iba is now involved in that big old LEC with all his influencers. You can smell that 200k subscriber count already. I think the obvious is easy. Where do I put Koi in that tier list? It can't be obvious. I think you all know this Koi is going to be an S tier team. And that's why, spoiler to the video that I'm going to show you, Koi is an S tier team. There you go. I think the problem is that the leadership of our squad. Larson is kind of quiet. Trimby is okay. Comp, he's good, but personality-wise, I don't know. And Malrang, we all know he's not as great as English. English is not his first language. And Shikenda is just a new player and cannot fill the Otawami role really well. You can give you a different playstyle, but we all know what happens when, G2 lost Perks and their playstyle with Reckless kind of changed and there did not look great. Fnatic without Reckless did not look great. Humanoid gone from Man Lions did not look great, and Man Lions did not look great. So, that'll be an interesting thing to see if the loss of Otawami can really affect Koi, because I still believe that Koi are the favorites to win the whole thing. And I will still stand by that. They have the same core that can win it, and probably the same coaching staff. But I think the loss of Otawami could hamper Rogue Koi's chances of winning the whole thing. And that leads us to another team, Mad Lions. So Mad Lions have a pretty year. They did not win. They won like 1 best of 5 in Worlds, and that was the Sega Buffalo, and that's it. So my expectations of Mad Lions this year are pretty much a little bit low. I mean, the top lane is kind of fine. Chazi, Niski, Eloya, they're okay. But you got a pretty pouty Eloya, like a diva, of course, trying to, with all the contract situation and everything like that. And of course, the bot lane of Karzi and Humanoid. Like, I look at that bot lane and I can say with certainty that there'll be 40 deaths in this bot lane by the time the split is over. And I'm not talking about the end of split with 40 kills or something. I meant 40 deaths before even we reach playoffs. I cannot trust this bot lane for the life of me. Hylissang, you're good. You've been to Fnatic with 5 years. You're a legend there. But you're washed. You're washed. It's done. It's over. And that's why I put Mad Lions in B tier. They're okay. They're a really good team. They're an okay team. Niski is a good player. He's a really good player. We all know what he can do with mages. I mean, we might get to see more TF, of course. But we all know what he can do with mages. He's probably the reason why he won MVP. The way he make his teammates better. He's kind of like the LeBron James of the Mad Lions team. He could be a good facilitator and all this kind of stuff. But I just don't see like how the bot lane can make this Mad Lions team better. Maybe I'll be wrong, but man, this bot lane can really scream like bloodbath to me. Maybe in a good way, maybe in a bad way, but you know, yeah, don't feel like great about the Mad Lions bot lane. Yeah, and having Mac back as coach is really good for Carzzy, of course, and hopefully Mac can make this team good. But the bot lane is gonna be a really, really worry, especially with a lot of good AD carries around Europe with Hans Dom and Reckless. I mean, Patrick back. I mean, oh, this is gonna be rough for him. This is gonna be a really, really rough. Consider how bad he was on Vitality. I think he's gonna have a rough time. So SK, I mean, first of all, SK, your uniforms are the worst uniforms I've ever seen, and I just want these uniforms to go to the bin, throw it in the throw it in the incinerator, and go to the depths of hell for whence you came. And your team is alright, but it doesn't scream like world beaters to me. It doesn't scream like LEC champions to me. And it also doesn't scream like a bottom place team as well. You're kind of like mid to best. Like, you know, let's say Leicester kind of best. And I think, you know, Irrelevant is okay. Marcoon is okay. Certas is alright. Coaching staff is kind of cool, but SK does not scream like a LEC champion to me. They're screaming like a mid-tier. Probably make a couple of playoffs because, of course, top 8 means that you're making playoffs, which is good for them because you don't have to play absolutely great to even make it. If it was any other year, with this team, SK would probably not making playoffs anyways. But with the format changes, it's going to be beneficial for them because now with this team, they can probably prove to the others that this little bit bunch up team can actually be good enough. So for right now, I put them in C. I mean, can't see the black, but you can understand where I put them. I put them as C tier because I feel like, you know, SK squad are good enough to even make playoffs, to maybe make some noise in there. But other than that, I just don't have that wonderful, wonderful feeling with the SK roster. Maybe I'll be wrong, but who knows? Team BDS. They were finishing what? 2 wins? And one of those wins was against G2 and their long streak of the LEC dominance from like spring until summer. So that was the only good spot in that BDS team. And yeah, BDS are kind of like the bottom team right there. I think Astralis and BDS are gonna have a wet noodle fight to see who's the worst. And it's tough. So yeah, Adam is back. Great. And Shio, Nucleant, they're okay. Bot lane, I don't remember as much, but I think the bot lane is decent. Labrov is still there. So I think that BDS are okay, but I think we all know where this is going. Astralis, meet your new D-tier bedroom partner is Team BDS. Hello. I think the reason why is that this team and this organization is just not good right now. And look, don't get me wrong. Like, we see, like, new teams struggle a bit and then they, you know, pop off and then a couple of years of development and growth and everything like that, they can win and they can be good. And we saw what Rogue did, of course, 5 years of being bottom tier team and now they're coming the best. So I could be wrong here, but I put them in D tier for that reason alone because this squad is good. Adam is decent, but he cannot carry this sorry-ass excuse for a squad all by himself. This is not a disrespect to Adam. This is just like the team itself. Heretics. So I like this new team. Evie, welcome to the club. Yankos, he's still there. Jacksepticeye, he's okay. Oh, Jacksepticeye, of course, he's good. Neon is no, not Neon. Jeez, I don't remember the team that much. But I look at this. I look at this. Oh, Ruby's still there. Yeah, Ruby. So you got Ruby, Yankos, Evie, Jabstedra, and probably like I don't know the support as much, but it's a long rush. But I think this Heretics team is really good. I but here's the thing. New team. We all know how new teams struggle in the league. If it was any other season, I think Heretics will be like one of those mini super teams that come bust. Of course, with the new squad, I kind of struggled to put them in S or B. Maybe I put them in A tier because of how good their squad and the names they have. But I decided to sell them in B. They're good, but they're not like world beater good. But I think they're decent enough to at least make some noise in the best of 3 playoffs and maybe best of 5 playoffs as well. I feel like Yanko's leadership is going to be huge for this team because we all see what his leadership does to that G2 team that falls really bad apart. His leadership, his personality is going to help this Heretics team a lot. So I think Yankos is going to be the most important person on that Heretics team. And how will Evie play with, Nar's not going to be in here and Lillian not going to be there? How can he play it with the Bruiser champions, your Renekton's and your Fioras and all that kind of stuff? And that's going to be a huge question for Evie. Being the first Japanese to play in the LEC with the whole weight of Japan on his shoulders. That's going to be really interesting. But I like Evie. I like his personality. I like this team a lot. And I like having the new Spanish audience to watch this team shine. So we'll see how this works out. I think Heretics will be a more exciting team this year. And maybe could win a split or two. Yeah, I said it. I said Heretics might win a split. Don't believe me? Go down to the comments and prove me wrong. Finally, it's Vitality. Bo, Perks, Neon, Kaiser. I said this is a really good team. I like Bo. I think his personality is great. I mean, like Malrang last year, he is also a really good jungler. The guy was banned from like China. He was a good player in that FPX squad, but got banned from kind of like match fixing and those kind of stuff. But when he come back to Europe West, he became the #1 player in the West. Boy, Vitality could have used him in the last couple of days of the regular split. They could have made playoffs or something, or could have made a little bit of noise in the LEC, maybe shock the world and grab a 1 spot at the Worlds. But that didn't happen. They crashed and burned, and now they have to pay the price. I like this Bo. Perks is still Perks. He'll be fine. He's kind of like the Cristiano Ronaldo of this era. He could be a team player, but he's not like a pouty little bit of egotistical person like, hey, focus on me. I'm the best damn player there is. Focus on me. That kind of thing. I put them in A tier. They're good. They're not as good as like G2 or Koi, but I think they're good enough to at least make playoffs, make some noise, be a great team, and like top 6 for the LEC Spring Finals. I say why not? I think I can say it right now that G2, Koi, Fnatic, maybe Vitality, and maybe one of Mad Lions, XL, or Heretics can make the finals. I said that'll be a really good LEC finals for like the viewership audience, of course. That's my top 6, of course. So, yeah, that is pretty much my tier list. I mean, this tier list is like, there'll be a lot of pushbacks, of course. There'll be a lot of pushback by some in the community, and I understand, of course, this is my tier list, my opinions. So if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but I am going to take this to my grave. That's all there is. So, yeah, this video is actually over, actually. I decided to do some dead rubber time, of course. So, yeah, if you love this tier list, you can go comment and say that you hate it or something. You can like the video, you can sub. I'll be all my socials, my TikTok, my Facebook, not my Facebook, my Snapchat, my Instagram, my Discord. I'll probably be mingling with all the LEC people during the week. Probably for a short while until I have to watch some real football. My podcast, my Mackie podcast is coming up. And it will be about the divisional round playoffs and all the sports in my painful heartbreak at Crystal Palace. Pain in Palace. Yeah, I'll discuss about that. And how Manchester City comeback victory over Tottenham can really make this celebration all the more good right now. That if you're Arsenal right now, you have to be very, very nervous. But of course, that'll be for my Friday podcast. I normally do it on every week, but I decided to make one or two just in case. So here you are, your tier list: G2, Koi, S tier, Fnatic, XL, Vitality A, Mad Heretics B, SKC, BDS Australis D. So yeah, those are my tier lists. And I hope you have yourself a wonderful day and just go out there and roast with your friends. There'll be a lot of triggering in these parts, but I'm gonna sit back and watch the world burn. And you should too. So, on behalf of every single one, I will have yourself a good evening, have a wonderful weekend, good luck in solo queue, and have a wonderful life. Or something. Bye!